Welcome back to Emily Spins It. I'm Emily, and today I have Dash from Virtual Perfection Cowboy with me. Hey Dash, how are you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome on the show. So excited to
Yeah, so
have
happy to
you.
be here.
Yes. I've known you a while now, so this has been a long time coming, but I'm really excited that we're able to have you on the show. So, Virtual
Mhm.
Perfection Cowboy is a project of yours, right? That's not your stage name.
No, yeah, that's the name of the project. I think a lot of people get confused there. Like, people call me
Hmm.
VPC all the time, and I guess now it is sort of a stage name. It's my Instagram handle and everything, and so I think people always thought it was me. But originally, it was really just supposed to be a random collection of words.
Last year, you composed the score for Path of Liberty, which I got to see. It was
Yeah.
really awesome here in New York. Can you maybe take
Mm-hmm.
us through what Path of Liberty was and the piece you created? And, like, because I remember there were, like, purposeful choices you made. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to know if you could share those.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome project.
Yeah.
So I worked on that with Daniela Vale, who's this amazing director who I've actually worked with twice before on other films, scoring her stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
again, that's one of those collaborative partnerships where
Yeah.
we both just get each other creatively. Like we don't
Yeah.
even always agree in like life and other stuff. In fact, we fight about stuff all the time, honestly. But creatively, it's like we're always tuned in. And so I always love working with her, and I think that's why she picked me too. Is she was just like, you're gonna get what I'm going for here. Over the course of a year, she did interviews and sort of like a travelogue because it was talking with people, but it's all she also got all of these great shots of all the different landscapes in
Yeah.
America, and it sort of ties together like all the different types of people, all the different cultures, all the different landscapes, you know, the diversity of what the country is, and how we can make good on that promise, you know.
Right.
And I think a lot of it, you know, in a lot of the interviews and stuff, a lot of people were very frank about how like we're not there yet, but that the promise of it is still extremely inspiring, and you know, the diversity is incredibly unique as far as countries go. We're the most diverse nation on earth, and nothing
Yeah.
can really change that. And that's impressive in its own right. I was amazed to hear that some of the people were so hopeful still, especially people you wouldn't expect. Like, there was this indigenous man who was interviewed he does civil rights law, and he had one of the most beautiful and most hopeful and most inspiring segments in the whole piece, where he was basically
Right.
talking about what I was talking about in much more eloquent words than I'm talking about it. But yeah, I was so impressed that people in really marginalized groups, you know, or you know, who have had difficult lives, you know, really still see the hope in it. And of course, this was shot before Trump was reelected, so I think we were all hoping that we would have a better chance to make good on
Yeah.
on the promise. But when it came out, it was sort of like I think a much needed breath of fresh air, because it was like
It was. Yeah.
it came out like 4 or 5 months into his second term, and like
And things were
I think we
already
were
looking
all
rough
feeling
by
like
then. Yeah.
pretty fucking shitty. Like he had already
Yeah.
fucked up so much by then
Yeah.
that it was nice to sort of like take a step back and be like, this country has, you know, it's a young country in the scheme of things, but it's still been around a pretty long time, and the
Yeah.
ideals are very inspiring. And there's still a lot of people from all different backgrounds, including white dudes, who want to make good on the promise and make it as good as possible. You know, so that was like
Yeah.
great to think about. And I still haven't even talked about the music, so I should probably talk
Well,
about that.
just really quick, as you walk, it's set up
Yeah.
so you walk through this like winding path, and there are these
Hmm.
massive screens playing bits of interviews and bits of just like the landscape. And so as you're walking through, you hear your music.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna paint the
Yes.
picture.
Yeah, you hear my music. I mean, what's great is like as you walk through the pads, Daniela and I agreed that we wanted to be kind of like what you would hear in like an ambient sort of sound bath healing session.
Yes.
And I even did it at 432 hertz. I don't know if you know about this, the 432 versus 440 thing. A lot of people think
Okay.
the 432 is like a more natural
Okay.
resonant frequency with the body, but 440 is standard tuning in like all music.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a random number that was picked, and then people later looked
Stay
into
with
it.
it, yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, 432 actually might be. So a lot of people want to switch over anyway. It's considered to be like a healing frequency for the body and everything. And if so, can this be a ritual healing for the country, maybe, you know, or at least for the individuals who come here, they can leave feeling healed and maybe a little bit inspired about what America is. You quietly hear the main piece I composed for the center, and then when you get to the center, there's this piece that goes around on 8 screens all around you in this very, very immersive kind of space. Each screen is showing different things at different times. Sometimes they're in sync, sometimes they're not, and everything's different, so you get like a different experience every time. And that's sort of, for that was a very like orchestral piece, and it was composed essentially in 3 parts, representing kind of the 3 layers that Daniela was trying to express visually. So the first is kind of like almost the primordial, like, you know, hippies call it like the source, or like not even the earth, like kind of deeper than that. But I mean, it starts with this beautiful shot of Monument Valley. So like it definitely is that, but it's more like almost the spiritual core of it. And that's a very also ambient, droning kind of piece. And then slowly these like rhythmic instruments creep in, and then these sort of like twinkly rhythmic strings come in, and then it goes into this more up-tempo thing as you see all these different environments. We go through the farm, the city, all of these things, and middle is kind of this like, she literally said like Yankee Doodle Dandy, but like less corny, basically.
Yeah.
Is like the kind of like typical like drum and fife, like American Revolution kind of feel. No fife though, because I find them extremely annoying.
You're plenty of other flutes you could operate with.
I'm not but that's like people walking towards the camera, so it's sort of like people marching. The piece sort of changes to convey each, so it's one, but it's the tapestry of all these different environments. It actually ends with kind of like the animals and the natural world, so not the landscape, but more like, you know, all the little critters and stuff. And for that I played my my drone flute that I got from Quetzalcoatl Flutes. Guillermo, this guy who makes them in Southern California, he's an incredible woodworker, and it's like one of the most beautiful instruments I own. Sadly, I don't think I have it on hand here.
That's okay.
I would pull it out and play it right now.
I very much remember at that event, actually, your wife saying, yeah, I don't have to worry about my husband going out and meeting strangers. I have to worry about him buying too many flutes. And I was like, that is a really funny thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's it. And it's like I went from one to the other, because like there's all these memes in like synth electronic music communities about dudes buying synths and like having to hide them from their wives and stuff, because they like cost so much money. Yeah. And that was me, and now it's like moved into flutes, which like I think I'm breaking new ground here, because there isn't like a flute meme community, but there should be. Like,
you should start one.
I started a hashtag flute pilled. I put it on all of my flute content, but it hasn't really caught on yet. But you know,
okay, it will. Yeah, keep pioneering that. All right.
'Cause hot girls always win.
Thanks for listening to Emily Spins It, presented by the Indie Music Network and Not Dead Yet Media. This episode was produced by Heather de Armas and edited by me, Emily Mills. Our intro and outro music is Hot Girls Always Win by Really Blonde. If you've enjoyed the episode, please support the podcast by sharing, subscribing, and leaving a review. You can also follow the show on Instagram and YouTube at Emily Spins It. For more shows about breaking through the noise, head over to the Indie Music Network podcast. If you have questions or feedback, contact us at notdeadyetmedia.com/contact.